What's up, Panel Nation? Lord on Dogo's back, and this time I'm reacting to another video by another one of my favorite YouTube channels, Movieflame. And this video is every time Harry Potter should have been expelled. And yeah, if you guys seen the Harry Potter movies and read the books, there were definitely some times where Harry should have been expelled. But for some reason he hasn't. So, without further ado, wands at the ready, let's get it. And shout out to Movieflame.
There is no denying that Harry Potter got special treatment while at Hogwarts. Simply
You're right about that, Morgan. You're right about
there were
that.
so many times where he did something that had another student done it, they certainly would have been kicked out of school. Welcome
But
to
not
Movieflame.
Harry.
I'm Morgan Ross, and today I am going over 19 times that Harry should have been expelled from Hogwarts. And make sure you stay until the end, because I saved some of the most wild ones that others might not think about for last. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and sharing. It will greatly help to grow and sustain the channel. And if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button, and you can also follow me on all of my other social media pages, all of which I link down below, and all of which house similar content that I make here on this channel.
You're the man, Morgan.
Let's get into it. Number 19. Harry blowing up his Aunt March. It's illegal.
Yeah, the prisoner of Azkaban.
When you're an underage wizard. You can probably get away with small infractions, especially if you're from a magical family thanks to the way the trace works. The ministry
But Harry's has a half-blood wizard. His mother was a muggle-born. His father was a pureblood.
Muggleborns, or those that live with only muggles like Harry, have to be much more careful. Harry had already gotten a warning, which was unfair given the fact that he was not the one who used the hovering charm. It was the house elf Dobby.
Yeah, that was Dobby.
There's no denying that he used magic the following summer. And he did it in one of the worst ways imaginable. He not only used magic in front of muggles, one of whom wasn't even aware of the wizarding world, but he used magic against a muggle. Considering he already had a warning, which was unfair, but it was still there, this should have been the final straw. But given the circumstances of who Harry was, the minister himself waived this infraction simply because Sirius Black was on the loose and they thought he was out to kill Harry. Had this been any other student though, they would have been expelled right away.
Definitely.
Honestly, even without the previous infraction, because what he did here was terrible. Number 18, drugging other students and impersonating them. Harry, alongside Ron and Hermione, straight up drugged two other students,
Crabbe and Goyle
out. Then they proceeded to lock them in a closet and steal their clothes. This is again a terrible way to not only break the rules, but could be viewed as downright evil. Just thinking about this,
kind of the worst things Harry did.
A Slytherin student, let's say Marcus Flint, drugged Fred and George Weasley, stole their clothes, and locked them in a closet. He for sure would have been expelled.
Yeah, Marcus Flint would have been expelled if he did that to Fred and George.
Thinking about what the hell Crabbe and Goyle did when they woke up. The last thing we heard about them was them pounding on the closet door, so they would have had to have been found by somebody to let them out. And that somebody would have found their clothes and shoes outside the closet door where Harry and Ron left them. Imagine if it was a teacher that found them. They would have done
like McGonagall.
And then I start to think about Malfoy's reaction. He was probably flabbergasted when he was told that while he was talking to Crabbe and Goyle, the real Crabbe and Goyle were locked in a closet during this. Why they never reported this is beyond me, especially considering that Malfoy's a little snitch who always runs to Snape. Number 17, making Polyjuice Potion. Going off of that last point, the trio even making Polyjuice Potion in the first place was terms for expulsion on its own. As Hermione said, it was not only extremely dangerous to make, but they'd be breaking over 50 school rules to do it. And then there's the consideration of how they got some of the ingredients. Harry took a firework during potions class and chucked it into Goyle's cauldron, soaking people with the swelling solution, causing chaos. And he did this as a distraction so that Hermione could slip into Snape's private store of ingredients to steal what they needed. When Snape pulled the firework out of the cauldron in the aftermath, he said, "If I ever find out who threw this, I shall make sure that person is expelled." Luckily for Harry, Ron, and Hermione, though, they were never caught for this. Number 16, breaking into the headmaster's office to use their flu powder to talk to a convicted murderer. Harry broke into Umbridge's office, who was the headmaster at the time, and he was of course speaking to Sirius Black. Obviously, he wasn't actually a convicted murderer.
He was framed, and but Pettigrew was cowardly bitch ass.
Office to speak to a mass murderer through flu powder, they'd definitely be expelled. Harry was actually caught for this one.
Yeah, Harry was caught, and Umbridge had used the Cruciatus curse on him.
Meaning she never knew it was actually the most wanted man in the world. But because it was Umbridge, and because it was Harry, he didn't get expelled for this. Dolores opted to use the Cruciatus curse on him instead, which fortunately was put to a stop before she actually did it.
Yeah, thanks to Hermione. Thank you, Hermione.
Without a permission form. When Harry failed to show his permission form, he was directly told by his head of house, Minerva McGonagall, that he could not go into Hogsmeade. And there were other reasons for this as well, because everyone thought there was a murderer after Harry. Harry, of course, ignored this, though, and went through a secret tunnel that nobody knew about. Now,
thanks to Fred and George.
He did this with the invisibility cloak, but in the novel, he went without it. So he was just out in the open, which is pretty bold. Had he been seen,
Harry was bold for being out in the open, but he really should have brought the invisibility cloak with him.
Magic himself, when they came into the Three Broomsticks, it would have looked really bad. Harry got away with this, though, because nobody saw him. Number 14. Sneaking into Hogsmeade without a permission form a second time and attacking a student while there. Going off of the last point, he was so close to being caught the second time he went to the village. This time, he did take his invisibility cloak, and he attacked 3 students, that being Draco, Crabbe, and Goyle, as he chucked mud at them, tripped them, and pushed them over. While doing this, though, the cloak slipped a bit, revealing Harry's head, making it look like it was floating without a body. Malfoy ran back to the castle and told Snape, who was very close to catching Harry, but Lupin came to the rescue. So
Thank you, Remus. Thank you, Remus.
Flying into the Whomping Willow. Flying car to Hogwarts instead of taking the Hogwarts Express, which, by the way, was in an illegally bewitched car, is bad enough. But then arriving to school and not only crashing the car, but also damaging the Whomping Willow makes it so much worse. This was another instance where Snape had a chance to get Harry expelled.
I assure you that were you in Slytherin and your fate rested with me, the both of you would be on the train home tonight.
However, McGonagall and Dumbledore arrived at that moment, and they said they were not to be expelled. I'm convinced that
just have the tension, which is
they would have been expelled for this.
Yeah.
Number 12, illegally smuggling a dragon. The fact that Harry along with Ron and Hermione helped harbor a dragon on the school grounds is pretty freaking bad.
That was during the first year at Hogwarts.
Breeding a dragon is outlawed by the Ministry. They of course had Hagrid with them, who was the ringleader, but still, if the dragon somehow got free, it put the entire student body at risk. And they took this even further, as they got into contact with people outside of the school, invited them to the castle, and smuggled the illegal dragon out. They were literally dealing illegal creatures. Not to mention, they were out of bed at night, which they were.
And not to mention, they were so young.
Anybody that there was actually a dragon involved, saying it was a cock and bull story. But had she believed them and figured out that they had actually done this, I fully believe that they would have been expelled. And I think Hagrid would have been fired as well. That is, if Dumbledore wasn't there, because he would always get Hagrid out of trouble. One thing that's always been weird to me about the situation, though, is how the heck did Charlie Weasley's friends who picked up the dragon get into Hogwarts with all of the magical protections? It's been stated so many times that this is impossible, but somehow they were able to just get through some of the most powerful enchantments in the world. I guess that was just J.K. Rowling not knowing all of the rules she was going to set into place at the time of writing the first book. Number 11. Cheating in potions for an entire year. Harry spent his
Harry did cheat in potions
and got away with it. He of course used the Half-Blood Prince's textbook, which had all the answers and cheat.
As we all know, Snape is a Half-Blood Prince.
Potions before getting this book. Albeit, that might have had to do with Snape being his teacher. But even in Slughorn's classes, once he didn't have the book, he was not good. Harry probably would have passed that year even without the book, but had he been caught using the textbook, I think he would have automatically failed the class and possibly been kicked out, at least if he was somebody other than Harry Potter. If Slughorn caught
but Harry got special treatment because he's the boy who lived.
The resources he had. But if it was any other student, they'd be done for.
Yeah.
The class would be a scratch, and they'd be out of there. Number 10. Kidnapping a teacher and holding them at wand point. Harry and Ron literally did this to their defense against the dark arts professor Gilderoy Lockhart.
Who we all know is a damn
It
fraud.
was actually validated by Dumbledore. But just the idea of a student not only threatening to curse a teacher, but actually doing so as Harry shot Lockhart backwards is a wild prospect. And yes, he did actually shoot a spell at him in the book, but he didn't do that in the movie. This one is a little iffy though, because they were doing this to save Ginny. But even so, holding a teacher hostage and forcing them to do what you want, which in this case was having them jump, possibly to their deaths, this is certainly grounds for expulsion. Number 9. Flying a broomstick without a teacher there after being told not to. As Madam Hooch said, you leave those brooms where they are, or you'll be out of Hogwarts before you can say Quidditch. And what does Harry do? He flies on his broom as soon as she leaves. Because he's Harry Potter though, when he's caught, instead of being punished, he's rewarded by being recruited to the Gryffindor Quidditch team.
Yep, by McGonagall.
Though he probably would have been expelled just as Madam Hooch had said he would. Number 8. Knocking out a teacher. Harry, Ron, and Hermione were found on the grounds in the Shrieking Shack while out of bed at night. That in itself is bad enough.
Yeah.
But then they actually attacked Professor Snape, blasting him backwards and knocking him out. Sirius himself even said that they should not have done that, and that they'd be in a whole heap of trouble. Luckily for Harry though, he got away with it, because everyone, including the Minister of Magic, chalked this up to him being put under a spell by Black, the convicted murderer, who made him do this. Even Snape went along with this story. Although I think he went along with it for more selfish reasons, as he was up for receiving the Order of Merlin First Class for rescuing the kids and catching Black. Number 7. Leaving bed multiple nights in a row. This is once again an example of Harry sneaking out at night. And he did this not just once, but multiple nights in a row to see the Mirror of Erised. But the first time he did it, he wasn't sneaking out to see the mirror. He was actually going to the restricted section of the library, which is far worse. We saw how grave a punishment it was to sneak out of bed just one night, as everyone involved lost 50 points for their house. So imagine if he was caught sneaking out multiple times in a row and going into an area that is forbidden to students for a reason. If this were anybody else and they had been found out for doing this like Harry was by Dumbledore, they would have been expelled for sure. But once again, because it's Harry Potter, and because it was Dumbledore who found his favorite student, Harry didn't even get in trouble. Number 6. Entering the Forbidden Forest at night. If sneaking out to go to the restricted section of the library wasn't bad enough, imagine how much trouble Harry and Ron would have been in if they were caught sneaking out of bed and going into the damn Forbidden Forest. In its name, it literally says
it says forbidden for a reason. No student is allowed in the forest.
No student was allowed to enter, much less go while out of bed at night. And they nearly died doing this.
Almost out to Aragog and his children.
In the film, they did not sneak out with the intention of going into the forest. They only went after Hagrid was arrested. But in the book, they did this several nights after Hagrid was arrested. So when they got out of bed, going to the forest was always their intention. Luckily for them, they were never caught. And when they did tell Dumbledore and McGonagall what they had done, they were let off the hook because they had just saved the world from Lord Voldemort, which is valid.
Yeah, valid.
5. Getting out of bed at night and going to a forbidden corridor. Very similarly to the last one.
They're like in the first book and film.
Of them purposefully sneaking out after hours and going somewhere that is restricted. And for this one, it was straight up spelled out for them, showing how serious doing this was.
Corridor on the right-hand side is out of bounds to everyone who does not wish to die a most painful death.
Once again, though, they were let off the hook because they saved the world from Lord Voldemort again. Otherwise, I think they would have been expelled. Number 4, leaving Hogwarts on Thestrals to go to the Ministry of Magic. This
the Order of the Phoenix.
Insane. The idea of a student leaving the school grounds is unheard of, and is certainly against so many rules. And doing so by entering the Forbidden Forest, taking some of the school's sacred creatures, and riding them all the way to the Ministry of Magic. That is outrageous. That breaks so many rules, not only for the school.
I'm also surprised that Harry, Ron, Hermione, Ginny, Neville, and Luna weren't expelled for doing that. But we all know this was a trap set up by Voldemort.
They would have been expelled as soon as they returned to school. They would have had to pack their bags and be shipped off. Also, just something to point out, this battle never would have occurred if Harry didn't drag his friends to the Ministry, so breaking the rules really messed things up.
Yeah, which led the series'
Flying the
death.
Hippogriff at night to release the most wanted man in the world. This is another one of those things that, had they been caught, they not only would have been expelled, but they probably would have been sent to Azkaban. Again, Sirius wasn't actually the murderer everyone thought him to be, but he was in the eyes of the Ministry. So freeing the most wanted man in the world would be classified as aiding in a prison break.
Yeah, aiding and abiding.
If they had been caught, they would have been caught on the hippogriff that was stolen from the Ministry's possession and who was meant to be executed to protect the rest of the student body. This of course wasn't true, Buckbeak wasn't dangerous, but that's how it looked to Fudge. And even worse, if they were caught doing this,
idiotic
they
bastard,
figured out pretty quickly that they were using a time turner illegally, given the fact that they were in two places at once. That's a dead giveaway. And this in itself would have gotten Hermione expelled for abusing something that she was given with specific instructions not to abuse it, much less to use it in a way that freed a convicted murderer on a hippogriff that was set to be killed. And Harry would have been looped into that too. Luckily for them, Dumbledore was fully aware of them doing this, and they weren't caught doing it. Number 2, starting an underground and illegal club. Okay,
Dumbledore's
so
army.
if it wasn't Harry who started this club, and imagine it wasn't Umbridge who he was rebelling against. If some random student was caught secretly organizing what was essentially an unsanctioned dueling club behind the teachers' backs, there's almost no chance they would get away with it. Especially if they were defying someone like McGonagall or Snape instead of Umbridge.
Yeah.
This was a student secretly recruiting dozens of classmates and teaching them how to fight. That doesn't sound great. And let's not forget, there was a specific rule put in place to ban this club from being allowed. And no matter how unfair that was, the rule was still there. Just the audacity of doing something like this is wild.
Trust, yeah, it is.
Almost killing another student. Harry
this is the worst. This is the worst thing Harry has done. He almost killed his rival Draco using a spell he didn't fully understand. That was stupid of Harry. I agree.
Harry shot at him. This spell literally works as a sword, so he essentially
I definitely agree with Morgan on this one. Harry almost killing Draco would have had some serious repercussions. Like, if Draco actually died, this would have a huge impact on the Deathly Hallows. If Narcissa found out that Harry killed her son, Narcissa really would have ratted him out to Voldemort, and Voldemort would have killed Harry again, which would ruin everything. Voldemort would have won had Draco actually died. But then again, we all know. Voldemort, or obviously, Voldemort doesn't care about anyone but himself. And yeah, Harry better thank the Lord that Snape arrived just in time to save Draco. Harry better be lucky Snape saved Draco.
Malfoy with the blade of a sword across his chest and stomach. If it weren't for Snape, Harry would have become a murderer. Now, it's true that Malfoy was about to hit Harry with an unforgivable curse, but he didn't. So they only would have had the word of Harry, who just committed a brutal, almost murderous act. If Draco died, Harry wouldn't just be expelled. He would probably be sent to Azkaban. I'm convinced, though, that the only reason Harry didn't get expelled or booked for this was because Snape was the one who found him, and he realized that the spell that Harry had just used was made by he himself, which would have pointed fingers at him too. So he just gave him detention. Either way, though, if this wasn't Harry Potter, Dumbledore certainly would have gotten involved. And even if Malfoy didn't die, the student that did this would probably still be expelled. But that is every time Harry Potter probably should have been expelled from Hogwarts. If you enjoyed this video, I have lots of other Harry Potter videos on the channel. Like this one where I go over the Harry Potter scenes we never got to see, as I went through the original screenplay for the film. And over here is the video you would like most on my channel according to your algorithm. So clearly you would like that one. That's all I have for you guys today though. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Take care, Morgan. Guys, I gotta be honest, Morgan was spitting some absolute facts. These are all the times Harry really should have been expelled. And I'm actually really surprised he didn't, because we know Harry was pretty much a favorite to Dumbledore. And the last one I definitely agree with. Harry would have been expelled if he actually killed Draco. But considering Sectum Sempra was a spell created by Snape himself, Snape kind of would have also been in trouble, considering he made that spell, since he's the Half-Blood Prince. So yeah, Snape would have pretty much just gave Harry detention, but Harry better thank the Lord that Snape arrived just in time to save Draco. So yeah, what do you guys think? Do you guys honestly agree with Morgan, and that Harry should have been expelled all those 19 times throughout the whole series? Let me know down below. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so that you're all part of the Hondo Nation. And let me know what I should react to next. With that, this is Lord Hondoku, signing out.